But if they are able to do the first half of the NALCS undefeated, I think that's when we can officially start the talk of, hey, these guys are looking to do it again.
Yeah, very tough situation for Dignitas. They've clearly got their work cut out for them in this game. Poppy banned away from Dignitas, and Nidalee taken away from ReignOver. We've seen some very scary Nidalees lately. And Immortals, they're looking very confident. Yeah. Quirky banned away as well. And Dignitas, they're mulling over these. They're taking their time.
Really just a huge amount of priority put on Nidalee from the Team Dignitas side. Kirei first picked it in their banless game against Echo Fox, even though much has been made about how Kirei is a great Elise player and very lackluster on everything else, which is why it was so surprising that he didn't just first pick Elise against Echo Fox last week. Here it will be interesting with all of the power picks that have been flying around lately, like the Kalista or the Gangplank or an Alistar or a Graves, all these things, like how quickly will the Elise be a power pick in this matchup, since ReignOver is very good with it, and so is Kirei.
Yeah, Kirei has had Elise banned against him since week 2. It was open for him in week 4 against Echo Fox, but as you mentioned, they did first pick that Nidalee instead, so they're going down to their last pick for Dignitas right now.
Yeah, but as an example, when Team Impulse played against them, they only had one ban, and they used it on Elise. Yeah. So here, Immortals is actually the first team who could have banned Elise since week 2 that has not banned Elise. So we'll see if they pick it here on this rotation.
Yeah, Elise is available for Dignitas. Kalista is the first pickup for Immortals on their side. Dig, they've got 45 seconds to take a look at what they're going for. A lot of power picks are still available. Again, 6.2. Who knows? Maybe we actually get to see a Jhin this time.
Yeah, I think that the Elise and Alistar would be two super smart picks here. You block the Kalista-Alistar combo. You also get Kirei on his most comfortable jungler. But they decide to deny Janna from Adrian. Hey, at least they get the Elise, and that's a bold denial.
Certainly is. Adrian, unfortunately, did suffer that KDA hit. Yeah, I believe it was.
Died twice on Soraka against CLG.
So
still,
close.
his stats on the season are insane. The majority of this Janna win rate in the NALCS is from Adrian. And really, Adrian himself makes North America the most played Janna region in the world, both in trying to pick it away from him or him picking it himself. It'll be fun to see what they go for as a backup. You would think Alistar, because that's actually what he was great at last year on Team Impulse.
Exactly, synergizing with that Fate's Call. 14 seconds left. Looks like they might be taking a page out of Cloud9's book with Nunu being covered for ReignOver. Oh, but he's going to swap it over at the last second. Soraka is locked in, however, along with Rek'Sai.
Yeah, and Immortals have been willing to early pick Soraka, and they have been able to get away with it in the LCS. So instead of going Alistar and risking the Tornado being able to outplay the headbutt and interrupt him mid-dash or any of those things, they just pick a passive healing support that Adrian has been able to play super successfully throughout. We'll get into kind of the weaknesses of Soraka in-game and how Immortals plays around it once we get to the early game.
Yeah, we'll certainly find out. Dignitas looking for an answer. Apollo probably feeling a little bit of art in his blood as he's looking at that. Or should I say art in your blood as he covers Jhin. Decides to go for Lucian, though. Shiphtur returning to that Ahri.
Yeah, just a bunch of trolls. They're not going to be playing Jhin. They will continue to hover it, though. Ahri, one of Shiphtur's best champions. Apollo's Lucian as well. Played it both times last week, including that 8-3 and 10 win over Echo Fox. So a very solid draft so far from Team Dignitas.
Yeah, the answer from Immortals very quick. Gangplank locked in, likely for Huni in the top lane, while Lux going to be going to Pobelter in the mid. Very confident Lux.
Looking forward to seeing Huni's Gangplank now. When Gangplank first kind of sprung onto the competitive scene in the European LCS playoffs, Huni's Gangplank didn't look that clean. He got beaten by Soaz multiple times in those playoffs, but he's been playing it a lot, and so far, Huni's champion pool has seemed massive in the LCS so far. A lot of range damage potential with the Lux that Pobelter played successfully back in week 4, and I like the end of Immortals draft.
And not to mention, Dignitas holding on to the last pick for that top lane for BillyBoss. It's Quinn now locked in to deal with that Gangplank. Huni, the guy who's going to dive turrets to kill you, well, what better way than to blind him, knock away?
Yeah, Quinn has looked like a lane bully in most matchups. It'll be very critical whether or not he can get the right barrels off, or if BillyBoss can get a snowball lead on him Huni and ReignOver have been the two best jungler and top laners at pulling ahead of their opponents by 10 or 20 minutes. And it's going to be very critical that that doesn't happen here to Team Dignitas because they got a squishy team.
Yeah, they certainly do. Luckily, a bit of a disengage from KiWiKid's Janna. We'll see if he can keep his team alive through the course of the game as Immortals look for their 9th straight win in the NA LCS. As we're getting ready to load onto the Rift. This is a very powerful team comp from Immortals, and I'm kind of concerned what happens if they start to turn up the heat too quick.
Yeah, they have a lot of shields and heals, but they do like to go very, very hard early, and if all those squishy targets, they'd fall behind early against someone like an Ahri. If Shiphtur gets a bunch of kills in this game, that's a really powerful snowball assassin that he would be able to have on his side. Hasn't really happened yet. Shiphtur hasn't taken over many games, but the possibility does exist.
Yeah, it certainly is there. We want to know what you think, though. Let us know your game predictions by sending your votes to @LOL Esports with the hashtag IMTWin or hashtag DIGWin as we get ready for our last game of the day. It's Immortals versus Dignitas. Will they be undefeated against all of the other teams?
Yeah.
Or are we going to get the combo breaker of Team Dignitas?
Yeah, wouldn't that be a story? Team Dignitas has had some nice wins. Week 1, they beat COG after COG had beaten TSM when no one expected things from them. And this is something I actually like to bring up every year. Team Dignitas is this super strange team that when no one thinks they are going to win, they tend to win. And the instant people have faith in Team Dignitas is when they fall back again. And in this particular situation, there has never been less faith in Team Dignitas up against Immortals, so they're primed for an upset.
Yeah, the odds are stacked against them. We'll see if they can pull it together for this as defensive lines are adopted across the map. A little bit of harass is going to find Apollo and WildTurtle. I feel like I saw this already today. Apollo gets chunked out as WildTurtle. He's asserting his dominance.
Yeah, nice rend right at the end there. He rended when an auto attack was still in the air, which means it will rend again as soon as it lands. He gets the full damage of all the spears that are in or would be in Apollo. Of course, they're just both going to recall. WildTurtle actually decides to stick around because he didn't take much damage, and instead he sacrifices Adrian's health.
Yeah.
As Adrian healed him a few times.
Well, that's the ultimate support. I will take damage so that you don't have to.
Absolutely.
The synergy that we expect out of our supports.
Anyway, I did want to talk about laning and Soraka in pro play, because a lot of the time, you wouldn't expect Soraka to make it in pro play because supports have to stick around at level 1 or level 2 so deep into the game, and you compare it with something like a Nautilus or an Alistar as a support, who's going to have larger presence in a turret dive or in a mid-game gank. A Soraka who walks in and heals someone for 50 health, or an Alistar who basically has a mini Malphite ultimate in your lane. Clearly it's going to be the Alistar. Yet Immortals has either been able to follow the 2v2 or still execute dives with the Soraka by having Soraka just healed during the turret dive. And here it's exactly what Soraka wants actually, is a 2v2 lane. Even though they get chunked as they walk into it, they were advancing to kind of secure the fact that they could get the 2v2. And now we'll see how they deal with WildTurtle getting the early level 2.
Yeah, a bit of a cheeky play from Immortals as they steal away the small Sentinels. Apollo continuing to take harass, just doesn't want to trade with the level 2 from WildTurtle.
And it's just so smart. WildTurtle got all of the experience from the small Sentinels right there. Team Dignitas did not take a camp early, so now WildTurtle can play incredibly far forward since he was the first one to level 2, and Adrian skilled this heal level 1 anyway, so he's still at pretty much full power. And it's a great start to the lane. It's exactly how Immortals want to play Soraka. They know the strengths and weaknesses, and other teams just aren't good at finding the weaknesses of Soraka.
Tricky situation for Dignitas in this. ReignOver playing to the bottom side as well, clears out his red buff. I believe he's still leaving his blue open for a late gift for Pobelter. Sort of like a small pet. Look, I made something. You can have this. Just leaves it on the doorstep as WildTurtle continues to shove this wave onto Apollo. He just doesn't seem to be having a very comfortable time in this lane.
Yeah, Rift Herald being killed as well already for Immortals gives a feeling of safety here. Kirei would want to try and gank bottom, but he recognizes the Rift Herald is gone. Nice harass by Shiphtur in mid, though.
Yeah, Pobelter takes just a bit of damage. Shiphtur using that true damage to try chunking Pobelter away. Flash cleanse, just in case he does get caught by a charm. Pobelter is prepared as Huni is shoved under his turret by BillyBoss. Looks like BillyBoss is turning up the heat onto Huni.
Yeah, and Huni's missed the last 3 CS under his turret. make that 4. He's really getting 5, 6. Gets the 7th one. He gets the 7th one.
It's the 7th one that counts.
Yeah, but that's 10 CS down already early from BillyBoss, and often you'll see ReignOver going for the early ganks to snowball Huni ahead. It's tougher to do against a Gangplank, but speaking of which, as BillyBoss gets aggressive, here comes ReignOver.
Yeah, waiting in the tri-bush. He's not been spotted. ReignOver looking for a sneaky play. BillyBoss is at half health. He's going to be spotted out by the minion wave. BillyBoss takes the long way around. Huni looks for a bit of damage. Can he land the parlay? Barrel goes down. There's the flash knockup. They're looking for Billy. He hops backwards, but it's first blood, Huni.
Yeah, a lot of patience being displayed right there for Immortals. BillyBoss was trying to outplay and use that giant rock up there to make the running around odd. I feel like the only way BillyBoss gets out of that is if he immediately flashes over the wall, because that means ReignOver could follow, but Huni would have more trouble doing so. I love the initiative by ReignOver to just flash up immediately. It's difficult to gank for a Gangplank early, but they do it right there. And first blood on a Huni bails him out of all those missed CS under turret and whatever disadvantage he would have had.
Shiphtur looking for a gank, or that's ReignOver looking for a gank onto Shiphtur. Spirit Rush gets him away. That was actually Flash, but action in the bottom. WildTurtle chunks Apollo out again.
Adrian taking a few counter autos from KiWiKid though. He can't heal himself up, so that's actually not a hugely won trade for Immortal since Adrian is out of potions. But they have ReignOver there, so he's really been providing his lanes a lot of safety.
Yeah, seeing him on that side, Kirei, quick to invade, is going to snag the blue buff that was so deliberately left for Pobelter. Just unwrapping that present for him as ReignOver continues to farm. You know, ReignOver, he's actually had 9 for 9 participation in First Bloods in all 9 games that he's played. He's been involved.
That's insane. 100% participation and conversion as well. Like, Immortals is just getting First Blood all the time. So they haven't even had to play from behind. But it is this lane where Shiphtur is level 6 over Pobelter's 5.
Cocoon over the wall. Cleanse is used early. Pobelter is Ignite. He's burning. Kirei nets the kill. ReignOver can't save him.
Yeah, just a level 4 ReignOver as well. Still hasn't been back to buy. He's in danger of getting dove again if Kirei wanted to get super aggressive. Instead, they're just making sure he can't see us.
Yeah, just getting the zoning repel. Trying to scare ReignOver away. The wave is continuing to be shoved, but that means WildTurtle and Adrian put some pressure on the bottom again. Apollo takes damage as Adrian healing WildTurtle so much. Rend chunking out this Dignitas bottom lane over and over again.
Yeah. I do have to give credit to Kirei, though. That's kind of the first time I've seen an enemy jungler make it into ReignOver's territory and also convert a kill. ReignOver has been so dominant in North America, but Kirei on this Elise recognized how gank-heavy ReignOver was playing, found the way to sneak into the jungle, and then also converted the gank onto his team's primary carry for this game. A very nice counter there by the Elise.
Yeah, the previous 2 games that Kirei played Elise, he went 3-1-11, 5-1-7 in Dignitas' 2 wins early on in the split.
And they know they have no cleanse on Pobelter.
Ooh, Cocoon narrowly misses.
Yeah, I mean, it's his champion. Everyone kind of has that champion they get discovered on. For Kirei, it was Elise. He played nothing but Elise from the time it was released for about a year. Then teams started recognizing him, and then he picked up other champions to kind of make it into pro play. But he will always go back to Elise and look to dominate on it. And Elise is so strong in the meta right now.
Speaking of Elise, Kirei heads towards the top lane. He's going to clear out the pink of Huni. ReignOver was just up there, but completes his recall after getting level 6. And now heads to the bottom side of the map as it looks like WildTurtle and Adrian continue to shove this out. ReignOver shows himself. There goes the flash. Fate's call. They're not quite able to find Apollo. They do indeed. Adrian gets the kill.
Yeah, I think that's only his 2nd kill all year from a support for Adrian, but he unfortunately last hits that one. Love the gank timing right there from ReignOver because he knew Elise was top lane. But once again, Kirei trying to capitalize on that. Here's the gank.
Lands. Huni's so low on mana, but he's able to get out of there. Oh, there goes
just get those minions. Oh, he's trying to cut off their retreat path.
Oh, BillyBoss trying to take a hit for Kirei, but
doesn't really do much.
Yeah, not quite able to do so. ReignOver back in the mid lane now, finds Shiphtur. It's 2 for 1 for Immortals. So they're continuing to lead ever so slowly. Kirei's been making a lot of moves, however, and I'm excited to see how he's going to continue to flex his pressure.
Absolutely. He's got 1,450 gold, though, so he should be going back to base shortly. We'll see if he goes Runic Echoes or Cinderhulk. Now, the team really lacking of a tank, but do they just go full split push flank and assassinate, or do they get a little bit of beef in there? I feel like they're going to need a small amount of tankiness in this game. See what his choice is, though. He has really not shopped in a while, so he's down.
BillyBoss pulls the trigger. ReignOver has to get away over the wall as Kirei shows himself with a fresh red buff. Immortals don't want to take any chances showing that in the top lane. Huni has teleport, but no mana, so he might have to lose a bit of damage on this turret. Oh! Good Spiderling. Just buys time.
Credit BillyBoss, though. With his Quinn, even though he gave up first blood, he is consistently putting pressure on Huni and doing his best to deny him last hits. Huni has had massive CS differences in his favor 10 minutes, and this is the opposite, as he was the one to get counterpicked this game, when normally he is the one getting the counter.
Things not looking too great for him. WildTurtle, however, answering on the other side with a pretty moderate CS lead of his own, up 3 waves. While Pobelter continues to take punishment from Shiphtur on that comfort Ahri, landing charm after charm.
Really, this is not super standard for Team Dignitas to have these CS leads at 10 minutes. I mean, Immortals in particular has been averaging a 15 CS difference for Huni in top lane, a 6 CS difference for Pobelter, and 4 for ReignOver, whereas this game, it's Team Dignitas that has about a 30 CS lead in top and about a 15 in the bottom lane. Even though Team Dignitas as a team has been down significant in CS, about 8 in the mid lane and 5 in the top lane for the year. So turning that around, but still being down in gold is good and bad for Team Dignitas.
Yeah. It's trying to capitalize on that gold advantage. Shiphtur forced to Spirit Rush away. Huni takes a lot of damage from the Runic Echoes. Elise, Kirei has to get away from these barrels. Oh, an auto attack denies it at the last second. BillyBoss waiting over their charm, misses, but BillyBoss still pulls the trigger. Huni, down to 250 health, has to walk out.
ReignOver and Huni playing really aggressive in what is kind of a 2v3, and that prompts aggression in the bottom lane from Turtle.
Ooh, blows the Monsoon. WildTurtle's getting chunked out. There's the Wish as well. Auto attack, but a flash gets him to safety. BillyBoss with the teleport nets the kill. Meanwhile, Immortals pull the trigger onto Kirei.
Whoa, so a cross map happens right there as BillyBoss teleports down and leaves Kirei out to dry. They get the kill onto WildTurtle for his aggression, but cost one on the other side. Cross-mapping like that can get really chaotic, and I need to see that one again to understand what happened to Kirei as BillyBoss teleported away.
Yeah, getting a little too overzealous. Immortals still up in kills, just barely ahead in gold as the game is going on, but taking their time.
Yeah, so there's actually a teleport happening in the top lane, and Kirei goes for a blind invade as ReignOver is still in there, so I can't fault Billy for that one. That one's on Kirei. There's no way he should have been expecting pressure from his top laner, but instead Billy with a nice gank bottom. Unfortunately, the kill gets given back to his opponent in assist form as Huni can get the kill on.
More importantly, getting WildTurtle out of that lane, buying some time for Apollo. WildTurtle has been so bloodthirsty in that bottom lane, just bullying Apollo over and over.
Yeah, still the CS advantage holds true. And the kill did not even go to Apollo or KiWiKid, so they get the assist gold, but the pressure really isn't completely gone there either. Turtle's getting his flashback soon, Adrian still has his exhaust, so expect the harass to keep coming in from Turtle.
Kirei, though, looks to read it, setting up a bit of a gank as he's waiting in the back. Minion is going to cheat forward just a bit, but Turtle and Adrian aren't taking any chances. They're playing back themselves, not to mention ReignOver's on this side of the map and looking for a counter gank.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to pull the trigger this time. But Adrian is sneaking forward. Yeah, ReignOver completes his recall. Kirei abandons ship as well. Patient waiting game, but doesn't reward anything this time around.
Yeah, you're right about that one. ReignOver finally finishes his Cinder Hulk. He's gone with the Sightstone and the Chilling Smite. I still feel like Chilling Smite is the proper smite to bring on Rek'Sai, and you should just go with the Sightstone anyway. Being able to get a movement speed difference between you and the person you're chasing to get in range for your knockup, I think is just so important. Kirei as well, to follow up, did go for the Runic Echo, so he's going to be looking to kind of carry this one in a way. Huni burns everything, actually, whereas BillyBoss doesn't take any damage, so they're going to look to turn this around.
Yeah, Kirei's on that side. Cocoon is going to catch ReignOver, but he completes the tunnel. Kirei provides chase. Which target are they going for? It's going to be Huni. He's chunked low, but he's kept alive by Adrian on the far side. BillyBoss is going too deep. He goes down. Oh, action in the bottom as well. KiWiKid, oh, WildTurtle with the flash red. He's looking for another, but dies to the turret shot. He's left his support all alone.
Oh, and then Shiphtur ults it too!
Yeah, Shiphtur's looking for a kill onto Huni. Will he be able to land the charm? He does indeed. Huni is ignited so low. He goes down. ReignOver can't save him. Flash is available for Shiphtur. Dodges the knockup. Solid kill.
Yeah, so to just recap what happened, more action that just happens across both sides. So it's actually very difficult for a team to communicate with each other while that is happening because two different two different groups are calling their own team fights on both sides. And overall, that's actually split fairly evenly. Turtle goes too aggressive in the bottom lane because the kill is returned with Apollo. And in the top lane, a bit of an overdive by Team Dignitas. Instead of just hitting ReignOver, they try and run through the Cinder Hulk, Chilling Smite Rek'Sai, who can slow them down, knock them up, and do all that stuff to him. Ends up costing them their life on the top side. But when all is said and done, they kind of trade even for kills.
They do. 5-4. Still 2,000 gold separating the two teams. ReignOver trying to make more action as Kiwi clears out a Sentinel of Turtle.
All right, so the fight we saw was top lane. Now we're going to replay the bottom side. The Soraka ult actually doesn't hurt here because WildTurtle had already traded. And they try and blow Adrian into Apollo, but that means Apollo also didn't get the heal from KiWiKid, and KiWiKid has to stop his channel. Huge amount of spears stacked up because Apollo wasn't actually able to return damage while they were putting damage into the Janna. But WildTurtle doesn't really respect how far he has dove in, takes one too many hops forward, takes an extra turret shot, and Apollo easily returns a kill.
Yeah, just a half a step too far. He's looking for the top tier 1 along with ReignOver. WildTurtle, though, finds KiWiKid, but KiWiKid is bait, and WildTurtle has fallen for it. But he goes down, but he still gets the kill. They're looking for BillyBoss on the other side. 2 kills Immortal for the 1 of Dig.
Yeah, I mean, the bait was successful, but you lost your fishing rod. So, like, was it really that good of a bait? Yes, they kill WildTurtle. The fish has a hook stuck in him, unfortunately, but KiWiKid falls, and because Elise was shown bottom lane, Immortal can go even more aggressive in the top side. As was always the case, it felt like in the European LCS, and has been the case here in the North American LCS, Huni and ReignOver are best friends up in the top lane. And even though Billy had that large CS advantage top early, he is getting dove now by Gangplank and Rek'Sai combined.
Tricky situation for BillyBoss with all the pressure put bottom to try to shut down WildTurtle. Some of it has actually yielded a reward. Apollo's now up in CS over WildTurtle, and Dignitas are going to be able to take this first dragon of the game off of that.
Yeah, really late first dragon, 16 minutes. It's been a long, drawn-out standard laning phase with actually a lot of action, so a bit of a throwback game. Immortals is a team that's really willing to take risks and make fights, and Team Dignitas is punching back pretty well. But with all of that being said, it's nearing a 3,000 gold advantage thanks to the success of the Gangplank and the Rek'Sai. And Gangplank has some pretty insane scalings. Not even bought boots yet. Soon to be able to build the BF sword on top of this Trinity Force. Things are going to be getting pretty scary if he's able to land any Gangplank barrels in team fights.
Certainly are. Dignitas, however, are faring well. They're down in kills, they're down in gold by about 2,000 apiece. However, if they survive another minute, they'll have made better time.
Well, it's definitely not a speed run this time for Immortals, that's for sure. Team Dignitas is putting up a big fight. The fastest game for Immortals was 18 minutes and 20 seconds. They've had 2 sub-20-minute games. That's not going to fit into that category. Team Dignitas is putting up a very good fight against Immortals here, even though Immortals will still be in position to win, especially with the scaling of Gangplank and their current goal.
ReignOver going to snag away the blue buff. Doesn't even burn his smite to steal it away from Dignitas. It's answered on the other side by Kirei, but Pobelter already secured his own blue. Trade might be that top tier 1 for the bottom of Dignitas. Huni, however, might have something to say about that.
Huni does like to be a little bit greedy. They don't have proper eyes on Ahri, but at the same time, Ahri's going to be recalling.
Yeah, Shiphtur's on the top side. Found
for
Huni.
this.
Tries to burst him out. Shiphtur gets chunked out. Huni doesn't make it over the wall. BillyBoss gets the kill.
Yeah, the question will be what happens now, though, because 3 people were just shown on one side. They get the kill, but they haven't taken the turret yet because Huni was able to clear that out, and Immortals is taking the turret advantage on the other side. It's temporarily 3 turrets to 1, although that should be equalized, and they're going to try and rotate over to the mid lane to take another.
Immortals, all of a sudden they push the pedal to the metal. 3 turrets going down almost simultaneously. They look for this mid-tier 2. ReignOver is going to flash, knock up Kirei. Whoa, repels out of the binding just in time. Still takes a bit of poke. BillyBoss looks to join up with the rest of his team, but the Immortals continue to siege. Rift Herald doing a lot of damage. They're looking for the turret. ReignOver gets charmed. The turret goes low. They're going to secure it and back away.
Sieging with Soraka can just be so oppressing if you're the opponent team, because even if they get some harass down, unless they're closing in on the Soraka, those guys can take turret shots freely, push you off the turret, and then wait for the next minion wave to come in. So Immortals, even though they could burn a lot of cooldowns just to get in, it doesn't stop them at all from that turret push, and that's now 5 turrets taken pre-20 minutes by Immortals, even though they had, what, 2 turrets about at 17.5 minutes? Really quick, decisive action that opens up a massive goal.
Yeah, 6,000 in favor of Immortals. They're getting some massive recalls. Runon's finished for WildTurtle. You can see in gold, he's doing pretty solid, about 1,000 gold ahead of Apollo. The big person to look at, though, is Huni and ReignOver, rocking some pretty massive gold leads of their own.
Yeah, and it's all about the wave clear and pressure game here. That's the second time we've seen Pobelter ult the mid wave. Gangplank at this point of the game with Infinity Edge and the Trinity Force clears waves pretty much for free. The Hurricane has been onto WildTurtle. ReignOver will consistently ult back to his tunnel network to keep the map pressure up. They are just trying to not let Team Dignitas catch their breath and continue pushing and gaining that standing gold on the map. Look at this. They already have 3 people up on the top side of the map pushing for that next turret. Let's see how Team Dignitas fights back.
Dignitas looking for Pobelter. He seems to be the target. They're diving 2 turrets deep. Yes, it's 1 kill, but at what cost? They're taking a lot of damage. Kiwi, oh boy, he's able to get away. Flashes from the turret to keep himself, but ReignOver's on the hunt.
That was a dive that had to be done with no minions, so even if they get the 1 kill, they are losing stuff on the backside, and ReignOver picks up 1 on the return.
Yeah, solid kill. Huni even gets the assist. Meanwhile, WildTurtle and Adrian are working on that top tier 2. They're going to secure it. It's 6 turrets to 2 now for Immortals, and that was a 1-for-1 trade.
Yeah, that's the pressure game that Immortals does better than anyone else. Apollo says they don't do anything special, they just do everything well and fast. That was it. They had all the waves shoved. Team Dignitas saw they had a numbers advantage, but they didn't have the minion wave to capitalize on it. So even though they did get the kill, they had to dive turrets. The minions didn't help them retreat at all. They took a bunch of turret shots, and then ReignOver was ultimately able to pick up a kill on the backside, and Immortals wins the trade with a 1-for-1 plus a turret, as you said.
And this is such confident play from Immortals. We saw Adrian and Turtle from level 1 look for aggression, but they're looking for even more now. They've found Shiphtur. He doesn't have Spirit Rush just yet. Shut down by WildTurtle. Oh, and it just came up.
You know, it always ceases to amaze me how many champions have a really good synergy with the Kalista ultimate. Adrian gets thrown in for the first knockup, puts down his silence field with chains with a root. So the CC initiation combo, because you have Kalista, turns Soraka into a powerful pick champion, which blows my mind. And that is just, those 2 words should never be mentioned near each other. Soraka, initiation. They just shouldn't exist, but they do with this combo.
Leave it to Immortals to come up with something innovative like pick-based Soraka. Leading 9-7, still up with those 4 turrets, nearly 10,000 gold. It's 9,000 at the moment, but they're working on increasing that advantage as they now contest Vision over the Baron pit.
Yeah, so Fate's Call, they get the initial knockup on a Shiphtur. Adrian throws the Star Call and the root down. When the root expires, it leaves a, well, sorry, when the silence field times out, it will root the champion if you're still inside of it. Also, he couldn't flash out of it because he is silenced when he is in that zone, so it is actually a devastating gank combination.
Oh, but they're not done yet. ReignOver has found Kiwi, knocked up. Monsoon is going to knock him back. There goes the laser. He's still chunked out, but Immortals aren't done. Huni, oh, he's looking for it. Tosses the barrels, doesn't get it. Pobelter, however, has found Shiphtur, looking for a bit of revenge. Again, the silence field denies any sort of chase. Oh, and flash, ReignOver.
That's just rude. Chilling Smite on the backside. And they have Kalista, so even though they burned the Smite, they can still start this Baron. They have shields and heals for days. It would be a 4v5. BillyBoss teleporting to try and stop this, but Immortals does not want to relent.
Scary situation. 4,000 health left on that Baron. Kirei's made it into the pit. He repels upward. Can he secure it? No, it's picked up by the Ren. Kirei flashes the wall. There's the laser. Kirei goes down to Pobelter. Baron, Immortals, and another kill.
Yeah, very close smite fight right there. Kirei did smite it about when he thought WildTurtle would rend for 2,000, but WildTurtle was playing the long game, knew that he would only have to smite when it gets under 1200 or so, because that's what he can do with his spears. So he ended up using his rend at about 200 or 300 on the Baron and still secures it. And then on the backside of that fight, I really appreciate Pobelter's positioning on the Lux ultimate right against the red buff wall, so Kirei couldn't juke on either direction. It was really a secured kill.
ReignOver. He's so oppressive, even smiting away the wolf from Apollo. You saw Dignitas just trying to take the Baron off of the recalls from Immortal, but ReignOver, with enhanced recall, with his Abyssal Voyage, was able to get there and stop Dignitas from taking it. Immortal's in complete control of this game. Still 2 minutes left on that Baron, though.
ReignOver, he's the king of the jungle in North America. He has outperformed everyone so far. There's been these feature matchups with Dardoch, you know, who the new NA hype. ReignOver crushes him by 50 CS. He played against Rush early on in week 1, crushed him with Rek'Sai. Honestly, a lot of Rek'Sai is probably his best champion, but he's had success on everything he has played. We talked about his first bloods, but really cannot give enough credit to ReignOver in his role with this Immortals winning streak.
Immortals looking to add yet another one to make the run through the NALCS, knocking down every single team once, 9-0. Can they do it? This inhibitor turret didn't even stand a chance.
Yeah, well, there are no tanks for Team Dignitas. They're a carry-based team composition, so they want to make the split pushes happen. But when they fall behind like this, it means that if Immortal sets up for a play, the only way to get them off of the play is to team fight. And their wave clear isn't as good as they would like, since Immortals can actually tank some of the culling, even if Dignitas did want to use it to clear, and then just heal up with Soraka. So it's really devastating right now as Immortals is running away with it.
Yeah, still a minute left on that Baron. They're now sieging the bottom inhibitor. BillyBoss just completing his recall. He's got us behind enemy lines charged. He's going to dash in. Will he be able to find the engage? Huni in the front, chunks Kirei out. In addition to the Lucian Singularity, they're going to take another inhibitor. Shiphtur's looking for the flank, however, but Immortals are going forward, not backwards. Apollo goes down, another 2 kills for Immortals.
Yeah. Do not try and flank Immortals. They will just kill you instead of allowing themselves to be flanked. Shiphtur now at the backside, but this is looking like the final push.
Yeah, the Nexus Tower, #1, goes down there onto #2. They don't have any minions, but they don't need any minions as ReignOver's the one tanking it. Adrian pulled away. Shiphtur is caught. He goes down. In addition, BillyBoss tries to buy some time, but the Nexus is bare, and Immortals are 9-0 in the NALCS.
Yeah, and Team Dignitas put up a fight for about the first 15 minutes, but then the next 10 was all Immortals. 5-0-7 on ReignOver. Him and Adrian, the only Immortal members this game without a death. And even though WildTurtle had some over-aggressive moves early, Immortals stuck with their game plan. They played with confidence. They took home a 26-minute win, which is still fast.
That is fantastic. Big hugs going around as Immortals walking forward. They have not been beaten by a single team in the NALCS. Huni and ReignOver, they've run the gauntlet. In Europe, they've done it twice. In North America, now they've done it once. They can do it again.
Yeah. And this is also now officially the best start for a team in the North American LCS to a split. Curse went 8-0 in the first split of the LCS back in 2013. This surpasses that now with Immortals' 9-0 mark.
Not only looking impressive, but setting records as well. Dignitas putting up a very solid fight during that early game. Kirei with his Elise all over the place, trying to get cocoon after cocoon.
Early game, I would say Kirei's Elise was quite strong. ReignOver puts incredible pressure on the map, and instead of fighting it head-on, Kirei was able to accurately find where ReignOver wasn't and create pressure in those spaces. But then later on, it felt like ReignOver's persistence just overcame what Team Dignitas could hold. Shiphtur and BillyBoss both had huge CS advantages, but ReignOver was still able to go to those disadvantaged lanes and create advantages, which is something very few junglers can do, and is something that led to this 26-minute win.
And wow, that was hard to get out. It comes back to the oppression of Immortals, the fact that we see them constantly pressuring their lanes. ReignOver and Huni pushing all of the time, often together. These guys are unstoppable.
Yeah, and the wave clear that they had and how aggressive WildTurtle and Adrian were playing down in that bottom lane with Soraka, who is a gankable person before Kalista's level 6. But then once Kalista's level 6, it's really hard to gank that lane because you go for Soraka, Kalista just pulls him back, and Kalista usually kills you by the time you're going to get back to Soraka anyway. And they just weren't giving Team Dignitas enough options to try and go in for a fight. The wave clear from the Lux, the Gangplank, and the Kalista was too much.
And that really speaks to Immortals as a team, not only on their play on the Rift, but how they play the game mentally, shutting down option after option. To me, it was the big moment when ReignOver took Baron, then immediately dashed to Dragon. So
yeah.
Dignitas couldn't even get that consolation prize.
Yeah, and we talk about teams like Immortals is still a new team. Yes, they have a lot of former champions on their team. They have a lot of star players. It was kind of like Immortals and Team Soul Mid were the two superstar teams, so to speak. Immortals has just clicked right off the bat, and they are still getting better, which is the scary part.
Yeah, we'll have to see how far they can take it, but let's send it down.